Is that what it was?
Mercury
Hello,
square.
everybody.
Hello.
We are live.
We made it.
And like the conversation looks good too.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How's everyone doing?
We're doing great. We apologize to everyone watching. We were a little late starting tonight because of technical issues. Interestingly enough, tonight's show, the Beaver Moon is actually starting tonight and going into tomorrow.
Yep.
So maybe it's all of that energy that's around all of us. I want to begin by mentioning what the Beaver Moon is and how it got its name. The Beaver Moon got its name because of the Native Americans. This time of year, beavers were building their homes and their dams and everything. And they were doing it under the moonlight. And so that's how the Beaver Moon got its name. And now I'm going to turn it over to the lovely Kassira. I love your hair, Kassira.
Beautiful.
Can you hear me, Kassira?
Thank you.
Yes. You're going to talk about the spiritual aspect of
I'm sorry. Yes, you're going in and out a little bit, Richard. You're going in and out a little bit, but I can hear you.
Okay. Like I said, it's a strange energy tonight. Mm-hmm. So you are going to talk about the spiritual aspect of the Beaver Moon.
Well, the Beaver Moon, there's a lot of other names for this Beaver Moon. Oak Moon is one of them. The most popular is the Frost Moon, because it's now when a lot of locations in the mid and northeast states start experiencing frost, especially in the morning. You know, when you go out and get your car, your windshield's covered in frost. It's also called the Frost Moon. That signals the beavers that it's time to start building their lodges. And they do this over a pool of water. So they can still have water, but they won't freeze. They'll have a whole structure over them. I was talking to my friend Doug today, who said that he has friends that on their land, they live on a river, and they watch the beavers every year at this time build their dams and their lodges. And they can watch them all winter. Isn't that cool?
That's pretty
yeah. So this moon signals that it's time for us to start slowing down. It's time to start slowing down. We know a lot of people that like to stay busy all year round. They like to stay busy every day. They'll run a marathon in a blizzard. But this is the time to slow down. We've been running during the warm months. We do that here in Texas. Today was the coolest day we've had. Today it decided to be in it was like 41 or 40 degrees this morning, which is cool for us. And it will get a little colder as time goes on. Yet today I was like, ooh, that's a reminder. It's time to slow down. And when we do that, we then go to the next step with the Beaver Moon, which is to slow down enough to see and feel what we're grateful for. What are we grateful for? Not just running around trying to get this and that and get from points A to B to C to D to Z. It's about what we're grateful for today in the present moment. What are we grateful for today in the present moment? Big breath. Because we're starting to come into the time of year where we get to form new ideas and start forming some new plans and using our imaginations to then take a little bit more action in January. From now until the end of the year, we get to slow it down and start thinking about processing what we've had in our minds, what we said we were going to get done this year that we didn't. Here's the question. Do we still want to do those things, or did we change our minds? Did we decide that we're not going to go that direction? Did we decide that we still want to get there, yet maybe it just wasn't the right time to take the action, or we didn't take enough action, or did we not have enough confidence or enough support to continue on towards what it was we said we were going to do this year, or what we said we desired and required. So this is the time of year when we get to think about all that stuff. We get to look back without regret, by the way, without regret and judgment. Mm-hmm. We look back to last year at this time when we thought of these new great ideas, right? Mm-hmm. We thought of these plans, and we look at, okay, what did I accomplish this year? Was it what I just said I desired I would accomplish? Is it what I said I required? Am I okay with that? Because if you're okay, great, right? If we're not okay with it, we get to look at it again and go, oh, maybe my calculations were off. Maybe there's a different way of going about these things. Maybe I didn't have the right support from the right people or the right circumstances to get those things done. Now I can put my energy into attracting the right people to get those things done, and or I can change direction and put my energy towards something else that may have become more important to us. You see, I think we all do that over time. We're humans. We're allowed to change our minds. I'm a female. I'm really allowed to change my mind, and we do it a lot. So here's some advice before we get into the astrological pieces of this. This is a great time to look at our schedules, look at our plans, and really be honest with ourselves about what we really desire to do and what we don't desire to do. People get a lot of party invitations. We get a lot of holiday invitations. Sometimes there's some obligations. We talked about this last year. We're going to get into that next month, real about the holiday obligations. But can I start that now, Richard? Because we talked about it last year.
Absolutely. I want to say something before you go.
Expectations.
Yeah, it's interesting. All of my reading my charts and everything that you just said is exactly what my horoscopes are telling me to do at this point. It's telling me to slow down, breathe, smell the roses, smell the whatever the holiday smells are, and to really enjoy them. And I want to say something else that you just said, and then I'm going to let you continue, Kassira. At this time of year, the word no is just as powerful as the word yes. So we all are responsible for how we respond to everything. We don't have to go to every party that we're invited to. I know that because we've come through COVID and the last 3 years, and people are partying more this year than they did last year at this time. Everyone feels I need to accept all these invitations, otherwise these opportunities are going to pass me by. And I think we all need to take a deep breath and say, is it really that important for you to do this at this point? Right. Because we all need to take care of ourselves.
Yes,
so
we do.
Continue.
So thank you for mentioning that. So in other words, this month, November, with the Beaver Moon, this is the month before we really get into December with all of the holidays that are coming up. There's a Muslim holiday, there's Hindu holiday, there's if you're Tibetan Buddhist, there's a holiday, of course Christians. This month we get to reevaluate what we said we desired and required for this year, and reevaluate whether or not we're still on that page. And if not, it's perfectly okay. And it's letting go. As you know, with every full moon, we let go of things. It's letting go of other people's expectations of what we said we desired and required. It's letting go of other people's expectations about what we said we wanted and didn't want, right?
Right.
So it's a really good time this is a really good personal month. This time we each individually get to look at our schedules and say, okay, what can I do without? What do I really feel I got to say no to? What do I feel I'm obligated to do? Here's the thing. If we say no to somebody or a party or a thing, most people are worried that they're going to hurt the other people's feelings. But here's the truth: if you read my book, Let That Go. I don't have the copy next to me. If they have a hard time with it, they're responsible for that. They're responsible for their feelings. When we say no to please ourselves, and as long as we're not, emotionally or physically harming somebody, we're not hurting anybody. If someone is hurt that we said no, that's on them. It's how they process it that is their responsibility. It's our responsibility to take care of ourselves individually in a nice way. It's all about the approach. And you don't even have to give, remember last month we talked about not having to give people long explanations about why we're saying no. Remember me talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Or giving people, if people misunderstand us, not explaining it. That takes up so much energy. And even when we do, it may not change their minds or the situation. So we say, if we don't feel like doing something, we don't feel like it's right for us, we get to say, I'm going to have to say no this time, yet thank you so much for the invitation. Have a great holiday, and end it at that. The other thing I wanted to, I made some notes here on this subject. So we get to look at our schedules and see what we can let go of so that we can, first of all, please ourselves and take care of ourselves. Also, this is the time for us to wrap up things around the end of the year. Why? Because January, with that full moon, is the time for new projects. It's the time for it to start new things. If we desire to accomplish something this year that we didn't, we still have that desire, we can start fresh in January, and we can maybe come from a different direction, from a different viewpoint. The definition of sanity is expecting different results by doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can find a different way of accomplishing something that we may have not thought of before. And it's a time for new ideas. This is the time to start getting more sleep. There's a reason why there are certain animals that hibernate over the winter.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a ski freak, and I have a lot of friends that are ski freaks, and you're going to ski all winter, I don't care. Go for it. I don't care. Yet this is a really great time of year. We often lose sleep during the winter months because the sun's out and people are out and there's a lot of things to do. This is the time of year. November is the time to start sleeping more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Get more rest. It's also a sensual time of year, these 2 months, not just because it's the holidays, but I just read a statistic, and I told Erron this, more babies on the planet are born in September than any other month.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say on that.
He did the math. Which is like...
Most of the people on my father's side of the family, I'm not lying to you, are born in October. Do the math. Okay, so I was a July baby. So I don't fall into that category. It's also the time that we get to start to not only pull indoors, yet when I say indoors, pull more into ourselves. We get to do that for the next few months while it's cold. Really get into our meditative practices. Really get into our prayer practices. Really good time to journal more than usual. If somebody doesn't journal, try it. This is a good time to pick up a blank notebook and just start writing every day. Doesn't have to make sense. If one ever read The Artist's Way, we do. I need to do The Artist's Way again. I've done it several times. In the morning, The Artist's Way does what they call angel papers. I call it just straight up journaling. Yet it's just stream of consciousness. It's just writing down whatever is in your mind. It doesn't have to be readable. It doesn't even have to be legible. And it doesn't have to make sense. The whole purpose is not for you to even read it back. It's just writing down what's on your mind and what you're thinking and what your emotions are. This is the perfect time to start that again. towards the next year. So again, slowing down, looking at our schedules, slimming them down a little bit to better take care of ourselves, because we're getting into that Christmas shopping rush, which I'll touch on a little bit later. Rushing around, not being mindful when we're out running around and shopping. That's a whole other show. We did it last year. We might want to replay that show, Richard, if you can find it.
Yeah. I can find it. It happens
and-
to be on the front page of my YouTube channel.
Ah,
Oh, great. Yeah, we did some great shows last November and December. We might want to replay those every week just for the heck of it, just to refresh people about the holidays and all the things we can let go of, not just running around buying stuff and hoping we please other people. Yet it's a really great time to let go of stuff to create a really great void in ourselves to start receiving other stuff. Any questions?
no. It's interesting you mentioned the artist's way, because actually this relates to today's astrology. Not is that when I was reading and looking at things, I kept hearing, let it, don't edit. So you let these creative ideas come through. You have a Gemini moon, which is a door, an opening, and we got to let the information come through without editing, just like you said, with the journaling, which is a brilliant way to just get it all out there. You can later look back or later not look back, but to get that flow, you can't be in that. And there's a lot going on right now that'll cause us to shut down a little bit, a lot of choices, but it was really interesting that you said that without a prompt or anything. We didn't talk about that ahead of time. So love it when that happens. Just had to.
So why don't you go ahead and continue, Erron?
All right. Well, you asked me to talk about Neptune and retrograde and the lunar eclipse. Of course, that was the beginning of November, end of October. And we all went through a lot of stuff. That was we can tie this into what we're going through. That was a very purgative time. A lot of purging, a lot of, there were a lot of people who crossed over, people and pets and things like that. And, there was a lot of tears and a lot of flowing of spiritual energies last month. It was, I have to say, thank goodness I was prepared by looking at astrology ahead of time, because I had some rough stuff going on there. So it made me more present in the moment to help the family and friends who are going through that. So that was the benefit of all of that, the preparation ahead of time. The events were still shocking, and the events were still once in a lifetime. It's kind of a thing we don't think about, but if the passing of someone happens once in a lifetime, and sometimes we're afraid to interact with that particular event honestly and fully and completely. And if we do, there's certain blessings and certain openings that occur for us. It takes practice, though. It takes kind of an awareness of who we are, and that was what we were allowed to see. Of course, see Neptune. That's my
rulership.
Yeah, my rulership, exactly. Kind of sets me up for these kind of events. Neptune is the god of dreams and delusions. It represents I have some notes here. Compassion, confusion. We can experience just strange moments of that distant feel, within us. And usually it has to do with a Neptune transit of some kind. Yeah, especially in Pisces, it's very flowy and very like no borders, just,
and it makes you want to escape and not deal with it. It makes you want to be in the world, even if it's not real, that you want to create.
Right. Yeah. So, we can have some fantasies that we would choose to experience that might just be better off staying in the fantasy world.
But, like being in bed all day, 24/7.
And then that too.
Yeah.
Would you like to go over again what that Neptune is saying to us? Do you remember?
It's in Pisces.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Well, yeah. Let me just pull up my notes here real quick
Because we have how many more years of that? We have
to the end of 25
until like March 30th of 2025. It'll go in Aries. That's when it'll
Yeah.
be Pisces.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it moves very slowly.
Isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but was it also about changing our fate?
Let's see. We're becoming aware of our fate. We're becoming aware of what's in the dream world and what's in the.
It was about changing. I think it was about becoming aware of what we think is our fate is, and changing our fate.
Right.
I don't believe in fate. I believe in changing our destiny. But to me, destiny and fate are two different things.
Yeah, they are two
It's
different
interesting
things.
that you bring that up.
To me, fate is short for fatal.
Yes.
Go
ahead,
Richard.
It's interesting that you bring that up because over the last few months, a lot of corporations, business, the actors union, writers, the auto industry, all of these people are truly changing their fate with these strikes. They've for what they believe in. A lot of that's been going on during this time frame as well. Erron, if you could also weigh in about the lunar eclipse and how that weighs in with everything that's going on as well.
Okay, so the lunar eclipse was in the Taurus, yeah, and then of course it was in the month in a Scorpio month. So let me see, what can I say about that one? We have one of you.
That's the point of changing our fate. I think that lunar eclipse might have something to do with changing our fate as well.
Yeah, that's more of what it was, because there was a big a deep dive, really, what Scorpio, like whenever you're in Scorpio looking at something, you're at the image that I had was a volcano at the bottom of the sea. You just don't know what's going on down there. You have to really, really take a deep dive. And so this is the things that we push down that are really buried, and when you have this Taurus moon and the eclipse, it kind of interrupts the normal flow of a full moon, which is releasing, exhaling. It causes you to take that breath in to look at kind of, go deeper. So, if we imagine somebody who's one of those free divers, they take that breath, that single breath, they go down 500 meters or however far they go, and then they have to remain relaxed the entire time, or they're, to keep their heart rate low, to keep. That was what we were asked to do, and then we had an interruption to the line with the eclipse, which said, "No, you got to look deeper. You got to do something else." So we felt it, the disruption of it, and kind of forcing us to reevaluate.
Yeah, this lunar eclipse. Now I remember this lunar eclipse is about, and we get to do this for a while. It's about purging and cleansing.
Right.
It's about purging.
Purging.
This particular lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
It's
happens
about
for 6 months. It goes on.
It's a 6-month cycle, and it's about letting go.
Yeah, we have 6. Yeah. And it was the last lunar eclipse, which is October 28th. Wasn't it?
Yep.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
And that lasts for a while.
6 months.
That's a 6-month window.
Yeah.
It takes time to
Kassira's
release.
Gone. Yeah. So this is a slow. I'll just keep talking. This is I can't say slow, because it'll speed up at times. It'll slow down at times. It depends, but it will be present for 6 months. We'll have this awareness of this letting go for 6 months, this purging, this digging deep, this. We'll be looking at the things, the structures in our lives, the lifeblood of things, of energies, and evaluating it. We have to look at it and say, I really can't. Why am I keeping this around? Meaning, person, place, or thing. It can be something that we once valued, especially when we're talking about a moon in Taurus. It talks about our values. And we can look at something and say, why did I value that? Maybe I valued that at one point. I don't anymore. It could be, whatever it is. We'll be considering purging it. We'll be considering moving it into a different place. Sometimes a memory is better left in the recesses of our mind rather than the object. Recently we had to put down one of my pets, and one of the things I do is remove the beds, remove the pet's bed, remove all that stuff that is a constant reminder that the pet is no longer there, because the energy, the buoyant and beautiful energy of the pet can't come around if we're grieving about its death. It can't come around. It doesn't want to harm us. Our pet doesn't want to harm us from the other side. It will stay away until we finally clear the space for it to come in. And literally, we have to remove the toys that remind us of, oh, he used to play with that, or the bed, that was his bowl. No, we have to literally. These are the kind of things I'm talking about. These are hard things to remove because it means we have to accept the hard things that happen that cause them to be removed.
I have a question about that. Do you feel the same thing should be done with humans, or is it a different type of energy?
I feel it should be done with anything and everything. When we learn to let go and put it in there, put it into, we can create a memorial for our loved one, for our pet, for a job or whatever. But don't keep around the daily things. Don't keep around the daily, the feeding bowls. For a human, I say create a memorial, create something that when you look at it, it's held in a sacred space. It's held in a high esteem. You can look at it and say, oh, I'm so glad we had this life together. It's so meaningful for me. That's where we want to get to. I learned A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I learned to love more deeply. Is where we want to go. We don't want to look at somebody's old chair and say, oh, I used to hate that old chair. Oh, he's not in that old chair anymore. Oh, I'm so sad about that old chair. We want to be able to really, we want to create a little altar of some kind for our loved one, create a memorial of some kind for our loved one, someplace that we look at and we don't grieve, someplace we look at and we can celebrate. We can say, I'm so glad I got to be part of that. And I'm so glad this person was person, place, or thing was part of my life. Mm-hmm. When we adjust our own thinking just a little bit to accept the good rather than continue grieving the departure, we see a whole new world opening. A whole realm opens, for us. We have creative impulses. One of the things I often see is that sometimes our love, hello, darling, you're back. Sometimes
I'm having stuff tonight too, so sorry, guys.
Yeah, actually, Cyprian can talk about that right now because that's related to our current full moon cycle, believe it or not.
I have a question. I have a question actually for Cyprian before we move on, and perhaps you can tie that all in with my question. If I'm not mistaken, we do, but our next full moon after tomorrow will be December 26th, the day after Christmas. Mm-hmm. And isn't there another Mercury retrograde coming up between now and then? Or yes. Is that, that's what I thought. Now, when most people think of retrograde, because it's been ingrained into our consciousness that it's a bad time, I absolutely don't think of it as such. And I always think of the prefix revisiting, rethinking, re-looking, and that's how I look at everything. But I want to ask you if you can just weigh in about a Neptune retrograde alongside a Mercury retrograde and what the similarities and differences are.
Okay, I'll weigh on this one, no problem. Well, Neptune is a outer planet, so outer planets, and Mercury is a personal planet. So outer planets go retrograde several months per year. So it's not much of a big deal compared to like the personal ones like Mercury retrograde. Neptune, the outer planets like Neptune is always going to be there. But what I found is that Mercury is making like a very difficult distance from Neptune at the moment. So we were talking about technology, devices, and miscommunication coming up too, as well. So, like for instance, lately, like yesterday, I unintentionally ran a red light because I was trying to like get rid of and close out a GPS system on my phone because I was like kind of distracted. And then I had an oh no moment because I think I saw from the corner of my eye the stoplight camera flash. So it makes me wonder, how much is the ticket going to be if like I'm going to get something through the mail, And then a couple of days ago, when my two people of my household went out of town while I was asleep, I woke up 2 hours later, going downstairs, and they forgot to close and lock the screen and the front door. So, good thing I caught it in time. So I had to like recenter away from the what ifs and that everything is all good. Instead of thinking that somebody broke in and stole something.
Right. That would be the Neptune aspect.
Yes.
The dreaming about something that may never happen. Fantasizing about some possibility that might be way off rather than dealing with, okay, right here, right now, I can lock the door. I'm okay. I can look around and make sure everything is fine, make sure nobody's in the house. The Neptune takes us into that, oh no, all of this stuff could have happened. All of this, and actually since Neptune kind of moves slowly, it's so far away, we can get really lost in that. And it'll really drag us into kind of a delusional state of, a panic until we really ground ourselves again. It's very interesting. Now, Mercury retrograde is more, since Mercury rules thought and communication and transportation, it's more immediate. It's more right physical. More physical right here, right now. Oh, my server just, my internet won't connect, whatever. That's how quickly we feel the Mercury. Now, the Neptune, it drags us slow. It's like an undertow in the ocean that you just don't see it. And it pulls you under and you just don't know which way is up or down. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced an undertow if you're at the beach, but it's kind of scary. And it's sometimes
the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah. And for some people, it kills them, in fact. But it's that sort of sensation that something is pulling at my feet or pulling at me from a different direction, and I just can't place where it's coming from. And that would be more of the Neptune feel of a retrograde. Now, I like that you brought up putting the RE in front of it for the retrograde, because it works for any planet. It works for any aspect that we deal with. What it says for Neptune is reimagine ourselves, reimagine our dreams, just think back. What did I want to do when I was 7 years old or 5 years old? Wow. And reimagine. And now we can reimagine it, having gone through several experiences, a lifetime of experiences, reimagining. We can do this with anything. We reimagine how our life has been, or maybe a negative experience can be we can review it in order to get a different perspective on it as an adult. When we're a kid, we're just learning about the ego and the emotions. But when we're an adult, we can say, oh, I get why my loved one did this to me, or why
just in my head while you were talking. And that's, also the word resolutions. RE and then solutions.
Yeah.
And at this time of year that we are so focused on, a lot of people are, on creating resolutions. I like to refer to them as intentions instead of resolutions for the year. And I want to say to Kassira, I don't know what you just did lighting wise, but this lighting is perfect on you. You look great.
And I'm on my phone and not my computer. So,
well, you look great. And I also want to mention to Doug McAllister, who is our mystery guest, if you hear me and you're watching, feel free to pop on. And I also want to throw it out to everyone who's watching, and we appreciate you. I'll mention Alan is here, and Erron, and Christine Jeffrey, and Pam Stubbs. If any of you have any questions comments, anything that you want to share with our group tonight, by all means, bring those things up, and I will bring you all on, well, not physically on camera, but your questions up.
Right. Yeah. You want to talk about this moon today?
Yeah, you mean that's coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up
later on in several 1 to 16 a.m.
Well, this full moon hits, well, in New York it hits at 4:16 in the morning
Eastern time.
tomorrow morning. Yeah, 3:16 in Dallas. So, yeah.
Let's all go for a walk at that time.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'll walk etherically with you. I'll just the astral projection be right there.
Well, this is the first lunar cycle after the last ecliptical one. So, the ecliptical one will be with us for the next 6 months. So don't be surprised if we're gonna be I thought it was gone already, though. It's still there. So it's just debris that's gradually going away. So when the full moon's in Gemini is the nervous system archetype, the warrior. So we're letting go of a lot of being in our head and worrying in these next 6 months or so. So that way we can flow better mentally, emotionally, when the days go by too. But then also, technology is a thing, or having the frustration and the difficulties of working with our devices, computers, or any other equipment, whether it's from our personal home or in our work center too. So there's some things that we need to edit out, and that doesn't serve us when it's not even necessary. Just keep everything a bit more simple. But then this is also when we released in the full moon in Gemini, not questions so much. Gemini could be very, very, very curious, not we're going to ask everybody else around us questions that's not needed, but then questions in our head. So this is a time that we need to really, really get out of our heads too. Plus Mars is aligning with the sun too and opposing that moon. So Mars is about taking a lot of action, but then when it's here, it's calling for us to be a bit more safe and just relax a bit. We talked about getting much more sleep and rest, but then this is in connection to taking a lot of times for ourselves, spending a lot of times me time alone when we need to, which is going out in nature, getting away from a lot of people, or even the people that we live with too. But it doesn't mean that we're gonna have them worrying. It just means that we're gonna be here, and this is about communicating authentically as we go through these months coming up too. So communication is more of a thing because Gemini is very mental, and it's more so about talking, because it's ruled by Mercury too as well. And Saturn's going to be here. Saturn is the disciplinary. It's going to be in Pisces. It's going to make that difficult aspect. So our discipline will be tested. Our decision making will be tested. Our foundations will be too as well. Our responsibility, not what we want to do, but what we need to do. Finding that balance between our wants and our needs coming up as well. And we talked about Neptune and Mercury making that aspect. So we are advised from the universe to really, really balance the mind and how we take action in our day-to-day lives too, as well. Being in the present moment,
There are a lot of choices available to us right now. Astrologically, this is showing there are a lot of different choices, a lot of different opportunities.
Yes.
More so than we feel usual. But the power comes in making a decision to make the choice, to this rather than that, or setting something aside so that we can focus more fully. And when we do that, we have several yods in the chart that point towards that support us, that are giving us a lot of energy, a lot of support, a lot of encouragement whenever we make that decision to focus in that one particular direction. There is a lot of distraction. There is right now a lot going on, and we know it because of the time of the year, but we also know it because of everything else that's going on, and it just seems like you have really big, really different opportunities. Just trust, I would say, that my action one step forward, that's all sometimes it takes, is making that one step, grab the keys like you're going to go outside, and just the rest flows, and really discover. Maybe if you make the list of everything, you can go over the list and say, well, what's the most exciting thing? What's the most interesting thing? Where does my heart lead me to start? When you do that, the rest of the list starts to fall into place very easily.
Okay. One thing at a time. Yes.
Yes. Kassira, our mystery guest is waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
So you want to introduce our mystery guest, who we love? He's been on the show before.
Yes, he's my dear friend, and he loves all of us, and we love him, and he's so honest. That's why I asked him to do this, and he's willing to answer those questions as well. So that is my friend Doug McAllister.
And I think of Doug as Mr. Christmas.
Yo, God, yeah.
The background, all that.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at that tree, baby.
Wow.
Look at that tree.
Look at that.
That tree went up right after Halloween. Did that tree go up before Halloween or after Halloween, Doug?
Yes, ma'am. I was going to take your idea that you sent me and said, why don't you throw a sheet over it and put a couple of black eyes and it'll be a ghost. But
yeah, before Halloween.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's funny. A few weeks ago, the night before Halloween, I went, I didn't want to have candy around the house for obvious reasons. So I went to the supermarket, and all the Halloween displays were completely down. This is the night before Halloween, and everything was set up for Christmas. So I went to see the manager, and I said, could you please tell me where the Valentine display is? And the manager looked at me like I was crazy, and I said, why are these? But, this is corporate. This is corporate telling these stores to get ready for the holidays. And, and on the cusp of, or the eve before Halloween, they want everything down and they want to set up for the Christmas. And I said that someday we're going to walk in and we're going to see Christmas trees with jack-o'-lanterns on them. And I think, Doug, you'll be the first to do that.
I don't know. It's you're talking about having to edit. I don't know how the hell I can edit this. I'm gonna leave that up to my husband when I'm gone. But he's got the bug too, because he knows all the stories about my history on this stuff. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. I even got some new things from Kassira this year. So little seahorses.
I know. I see the seahorse in the background.
So
they're
fun.
Know, that's your spirit animal.
Yep. And there's my husband's is the jaguar, and the dolphin is teaching us how to get along together. That's what they're doing.
Okay, so I don't think we're going to have time for a meditation. So why don't we go through those questions? Doug, I want you to answer these questions for us, and we can as well.
Okay.
Okay, Richard?
Yes. Well, the first thing we're going to go around, and because we just did experience Thanksgiving, and everyone's going to say what they're grateful for. Kassira, you want to go first?
I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head, a car, food. I'm grateful for my family, my extended family, my really great friends. I'm just grateful to be alive. Yeah.
Cyprian?
Well, I'm grateful for just being here on this plane. Looking forward, to the next day while being present at the moment for my family, the holiday fat. Just the nice seasonal transition that I'm still in good health, and just everything in the fine things that life has to offer. And lastly, all of you.
And right back at you. Erron?
Well, I'm going to ditto Kassira and ditto Cyprian, so we don't go over that again. But I also want to just acknowledge that it's the real small, special little surprise moments that occur that I'm really grateful that I'm able to see those, witness those, be a part of those, and discuss those with people. You know, sometimes we feel like we can't. Oh, what just happened? Who can I tell? Nobody's going to talk to me. But I feel like I have friends that I can talk to, and I can say, "Did you just see? Did you just? What did you?" And they say, "Yes, I did." And I know I didn't make much of a sentence with that, but I think you get my point. Those little magic moments are what I'm grateful for.
Are you talking about synchronicity or just?
I'm talking about synchronicities. I'm talking about the like little telepathic messages we send back and forth to each other that we can validate however we validate them. The very fact that sometimes we'll call somebody or text somebody and they'll say, I was just thinking about, I love that. So I'm so grateful that we have more and more, that I get to experience more and more awareness of that and share that with more and more people, random people and close friends. It's really those are special moments for me.
That's great. Doug?
Well, of course, I am grateful for Cher and Dolly. Whoever could have worn a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader outfit? Dolly is awesome.
Yep.
But all joking aside, I am very, very grateful to be part of our country. I have several friends in other parts of the world that are not so lucky and fortunate. And I think about them constantly. It makes it a little harder to celebrate holidays, but I put it in its perspective because I have to have a little bit of that. Because, you know, people that celebrate Christmas early live longer and are happier.
Well, you know me, I'm all about celebrating. So anything that is going to get you through the day, I go for it. And you know, and for everybody else out there, don't make judgment calls. You know, because you know, some people you know, have their Christmas trees up. You know, right next to where we live, we've gotten our Christmas tree for the last few years from the volunteer fire department because the money goes to help them. And they are, I consider, behind the 8 ball this year.
Do the volunteer firemen deliver it?
Well, they can. They're right next door to me.
Kassira knows.
You're okay. Okay.
Bring me 10.
But yeah, but I wanted to say that this year for our Thanksgiving dinner, and it was really great because we had people from all different walks of our lives, you know, all come together. There were 10 of us, counting Danny and myself, 8 guests that came. But one of the things that I did, someone gave me these stones, and on each of the stones is a little thing about yourself. And everyone drew a stone. And before we ate, we went around the table and everybody told a little something about themselves that we probably wouldn't have known about otherwise. One couple, the wife said she heard a story about her husband that she had never heard before. And it was such a positive way of getting to know each other. And Pam Stubbs wrote, like Mame said, we need a little Christmas. Next Sunday night, I am singing at Don't Tell Mama in the City in a Christmas show, and I'm singing We Need a Little Christmas. So,
awesome.
Wow. Okay.
I wish that would stream.
Congratulations.
What was that?
I wish it would stream.
I wish that they would stream as well. So maybe they will. Tomorrow afternoon, the host of that show, Goldie DeVere, and the director, James Beeman, are going to be on my show at 4:00, and we're going to be talking about the show. So maybe I'll bring that up and see if they'll do that. I have another question. Kassira, at this time of year where everything gets a little wonky and crazy, what is the one area of your life that you could use a little bit more patience in?
Definitely other people. Really, tolerance is a better word. Would be more accurate.
Right.
I love you, Kassira.
I do
That's
too.
all. That's all.
We knew. Cyprian, what about yourself?
Patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on people, like she said, I second that one with her. And patience, just like driving out on the road for people who are stuck in car culture. California, for the most part, I'm just like working on getting to my destination and just getting rid of the conception of time when we need to. And just even patience, like for ourselves as well, when we're trying to make a personal goal for ourselves. If like there's no much change implemented in the time that we expect. So expectations and patience, they go hand in hand. So having those expectations and just, focusing on the breathing techniques, meditation, prayer, intention. And we talked about journaling too. And to like really, really remind ourselves to like really get into that. That's a way for us to like take a break from technology too. Sometimes like we mentioned about just like doodling or just writing our thoughts and expressing our feelings on a piece of paper, but it doesn't have to be just words. It could be just pictures or something that we draw. So that way we can go back to it and start reflecting and start, I'm connecting with what we recorded on a better level too. So
Cool.
Great. That's really Erron, same question.
So I would say I would like to exercise more patience with myself. Lower the expectation, have a little more allow myself to get some rest. Everything doesn't have to be done at once. Everything doesn't have to be done at once. Everything cannot be done at once, but I expect that of myself. And so, oops.
Can I make a goal number for you for sleep?
Kassira.
Make it 7 to 9 hours
Yeah.
at an average per day. That's the
Oh, really?
Yeah.
According to statistics, that's the standard for healthy being.
That's not enough time. I need more time. Okay, wait, patience there. So, have more patience with myself. Say when it's time to go.
You're always doing something. It's like I can't stop. It's like no one can stop him.
Yeah.
He's like busy. Sleep. Get up. Busy. Just woo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Doug?
Well, I need help with focus and distractions. I'm
we were asking. Well, the question is, where do you need to utilize more patience?
I just need to focus and less distractions.
Okay.
That's what I need.
So you don't want to talk about what you need to have patience for?
No, I didn't say patience.
Well, we did.
Oh, I didn't know that was the word. I thought we just said
No, Richard said. Richard, what was the question?
No, the question is, what do you feel that you could use more patience of in your life, especially this time of year?
Oh. Never mind.
Oh, that.
Let's ask another question of Madonna. Go ahead.
Okay.
That I think maybe you can have more patience with yourself.
Yeah.
Less scotch, more patience.
Well, for me, it is all I want to have more patience with the way that life unfolds. Instead of putting expectations on how it could turn out or how it will turn out, just being in the moment and experiencing that and letting it just unfold as it unfolds and experiencing it as it's unfolding. That's what I would love to have more patience with.
Well, that's what Erron said it a while ago, going with the flow of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going with, slowing down and going with the flow of things. Yeah.
Now, I want to talk, can I, tomorrow is Cyber Monday. So I'd like to have a little commercial for Cyber Monday. May I? Will you all indulge me?
Sure.
Tomorrow is Cyber Monday, which means shopping online. And if you all go to Amazon.com, you can order Let That Go by Kassira McKee. And order 2 copies, keep one for yourself, and then go to your Facebook friends list and numberology, which I learned from Kassira, for me, tomorrow is a 4-day for me. So what I would like you all to do is to go to your Facebook friends list, and the 4th name that pops out, send them a copy of Let That Go for the holidays.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So
buy
Do
4.
you have the book? Do you have the book by you?
it's on my shelf here. But
He posts.
It's up on your screen.
it's on your
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, there it is. Hi.
Yes.
Hi, book. Yep, that's it.
But Doug
Thank you.
has a better idea. Doug, do you want to repeat that?
Yeah, buy 4 of them and carry them around. I'm always running into somebody that really needs it right now. So I would just give them away to them. I'm going to do that.
That's a good idea.
Good idea.
So
You
everybody,
need to let that go.
everybody order 4 of them tomorrow. And that brings us to our next question. The full moon, which officially hits tomorrow morning here in New York, for those New York friends that are here, at 4:16. I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going for a walk at 4:16 a.m. tomorrow.
Wow.
But what do you feel that you need to let go of at this time, Kassira?
Well, I don't like the word need. I really like the word, what do I think I'm required to let go of?
Okay. What are you required to let go of right now?
I've been on the expectation page for a while. And I really am hard on myself many times, a lot. And, well, not a lot, but I can be. So I'm still on that page of letting go of just more expectations of myself that I'm really more than I'm equipped to handle at the moment. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. But you and I are soulmates, because that's the word that I'm thinking of, expectations. I want to let go of that.
Letting go of expectations of myself right now. Maybe later. Yeah, right now it is time. It's time to slow down and just hibernate a little and, put the stew together and let it simmer for a while and see how it tastes when it comes out,
Absolutely. Cyprian?
I second what Kassira said, but other than that, I'm compelled to let go of a lot of clutter in my place that's been there forever. Whether I could sell it or even donate it, though, if donating is easier, then so be it. Because it's just the holiday period, and there's a lot who are more so in need of certain things, and just being in the headspace so much. Also letting go of even certain connections that's not needed, but then this is more so of a form of setting boundaries through love as well, and just let go of just dwelling upon what's not present, what's not in the immediate space, and just more on watering the grass where it's supposed to be watered, which is right here, right now. Not somewhere else where the grass is not meant to be green, at least yet.
Yeah.
So, and just be. That's all.
Erron?
Mine is clutter, which I'm doing, and the need to, clutter, because as we change, some things come in, some things go. Just got to accept that. The resistance to change really is a big one for me. So I would love to be able to let go of that more and more as we go along here. The resistance to the change.
And Doug?
I'd like to let go of more of me, and focus on others, because there's a lot more people needier than I am. And I challenge everybody. I volunteer half a day a week at a outreach homeless shelter.
God bless you.
It gives you no, I didn't say that for that reason, but it gives you a
I can still say that.
a whole new perspective of what's really important. And I've met some good friends there that I challenge you to do that.
That's wonderful. I mean, we're not going to do a meditation tonight because of the time constraint. But what I do want to do is, like I do with most of my shows when I have a lot of guests, is I give each of them a chance to have the final word. So I'm going to give each of you a chance to have your final word. We'll start with you, Doug, then Erron, and then Cyprian. And Kassira, I'll give you the final word tonight. And it can be about anything that we spoke about tonight that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message that you want to leave everyone with tonight. I want to tie in two things. Number one, Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is not just a day that pops up once a year. It's a day that we should have every day. I like to begin every day with gratitude. And I do my morning pages every morning because Julia Cameron is one of my favorite writers. And I've been thinking a lot. I'm grateful for each of you who have made getting through this year a lot better, with these monthly check-ins, which I love. I also want to acknowledge everybody who shows up. We don't take it lightly. So thank you for spending an hour with us, not only tonight, but for all the nights that you've spent with us. I end all of my shows by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. You can either buy 2 copies of Let That Go or follow Doug's example and order 4 and send them out to those people that are making a difference in your life. I'm telling you, it's a great book. I love mine. I refer to it daily, and it is a perfect holiday gift to give to someone at this time. So think about that. A dear friend of mine, as I've said at the end of my shows, says we're all in the same storm, but we're in different size boats. And I always say, I don't care what size boat you're on, as long as you have a skipper by your side. Now, the next full moon will be the day after Christmas. So Kassira and Erron, you'll put your heads together. You'll pick a night next month that we'll get together and we'll make it happen so that you can all check in with us again. And we'll talk about letting go of that holiday stress like we did last year. I'm going to leave the screen. And Doug, I'm turning it over to you. And it's good to see you again. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Richard.
Well, being given the challenge of having my last thought, that could be really deep. But I appreciate you all. I've missed you a lot, and next year is going to be a big challenge. So we'll get through it. But I'll be tuning into you guys for more guidance and following the various moons and see who fits properly. So anyway, have a good holiday season, whatever holiday that is, whether you celebrate Tuesdays or whatever it is. But y'all take care and do something good for somebody you don't know. Have a great time.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And
Bye.
next, okay.
Okay, so my last thought for the day is I'll refer back to don't edit, let it. So let this creative flow that we're experiencing now, these ideas, just let them flow in, flow through. They'll take root where they need to. They will encourage us, and this is the time to experience that. And that's simply in the here and now. I'm going to remind myself as well, don't edit, let it. And that's how I leave it. And thank you all for these opportunities. And I wish you all happy holidays.
Thank you. And thank you for your comments as well. Enjoy the journey day by day and don't worry so much about the results. I hope you all have a happy holidays, that's been said. And I advise for you all to utilize this period to really, really relax and reflect on a lot of intentions for 2024. Yeah, I almost said 2025. So that's how much divine timing can work wonders.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, be blessed, and I look forward to connecting with you all again.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Erron. Thank you, Cyprian. Thank you, Pam and Alan and everybody, Christine, everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you so much. This was really, it just gets more interesting every week, doesn't it? I just want to remind you, slow down, purge, cleanse, let things go, let some people go if you gotta, let the past go, let go of those negative feelings, let go of those harboring grudges, just let it all freaking go. Remind yourself what there is to be grateful for. There is something to be grateful for every day of our lives. Be grateful, let it go, slow down, let your imagination run wild so that you can regenerate and restart your engines in January and February. We all love you. Have a blessed November.